I want to remind you that authority is really only based on perceived legitimacy. So as long as your skill set, as long as your attitude, as long as your performance, as long as your resume, as long as your career is perceived as important or valuable, that's the only way you have power in that scenario. Empower You podcast is devoted to bringing real-world wisdom and encouragement to our listeners. We discuss a multitude of life principles and the process from an economic, cultural, and societal perspective. We believe that through tough conversations and shared wisdom, we can pave the path and leave a ladder for the future. Subscribe to our channel and let us empower you. Welcome to Empower You podcast. My name is Kibwe Cooper. I am so glad that you are here. How you doing today? So today, for this episode, it's just going to be me, and I really wanted to talk to you all and make you all aware of an event that I am doing called Creating a Path to Power. Now, this event will take place at Promenade Park in Fort Wayne, Indiana, on July 10th. There will be a guest speaker, there will be a DJ, there'll be food, and we're going to hang out. We're going to have a really, really great time. And what we'll be talking about during that event, the topic is creating a path to power. Now, you may ask, what does that mean really, right? What does it mean to create your own path to power? Well, first of all, let's define what power is. Power is the ability to direct or influence the course of an event or the way that others behave. Power to direct the course of your life, to impact the course of your life. Now, each of us has power, but what are we really using it for, right? I'll tell you a little story. I've got a good friend of mine who is in a authoritative position, right? Meaning they have the authority to dictate and to mandate certain things, whether it be behaviors or processes. But at the end of the day, they sometimes feel unseen. And I asked, why? Why do you feel like this? What's the problem? And one of the things that they said was, it feels as though no one really sees me. They only understand or they only respect me because of the authority that I have, not because I'm a genuinely kind and thoughtful person. Now, let's take that in, all right? Now, it would appear that authority is the same thing as power. So maybe we all have power in that sense, right? Authority to mandate the way certain things in our life happen. But I want to remind you that authority is really only based on perceived legitimacy. So as long as your skill set, as long as your attitude, as long as your performance, as long as your resume, as long as your career is perceived as important or valuable, that's the only way you have power in that scenario. What we want to talk about, especially in this event, is what actual power is and how you determine the direction of your life and the ability you have to influence the back and forth, the give and take that happens in life naturally. So think to yourself right now, do you have authority in your life or do you have power? What do you truly have power over? For some of us in 2020, we realized that our authority, our perceived legitimacy, our perceived power only existed in a vacuum, whether it was your job or your ability to get out and do whatever. And when those things went away, you realize that you have very little power over the direction your life was going. You have very little authority even to dictate the way that your life goes, because outside of that perceived value, outside of that perceived legitimacy, you really don't have anything, right? That has been the story for many of us, and it has left us with a lot of questions about who am I? What do I really want? What is my path really outside of this job, outside of this career, outside of the gender roles I may fall into, outside of the familial roles that may have been, put on me, whatever those expectations are. Who am I really? Right? Who am I really? What influence do I have over myself to direct me in such a way that I feel whole, whether it's perceived legitimacy or not? Do I feel good about what I do? Am I happy doing what I'm doing? Do I have the power to say no? Do I have the power to change directions? Do I have the power to dictate the terms in which I show up in life, in relationships, at work? There's a lot to be said for your power. We can all get authority based off of something, right? Your job will give you just enough authority to keep you coming back every day. But they never really give you power to dictate what makes you happy, power to be your whole and full self. Now, I'm not telling you that your job is terrible or go quit your job. I'm just asking you to do a self-check today as you're going through your day and look at the things that you may have authority to do versus the things that you have power to do. Do you have power to say, I'm going to live my life a certain way, and that's what's best for me? Many people went back to jobs that they absolutely hate. Why? Because they don't have any power to say no. Many people stick in relationships or are stuck in relationships based off of the fact they don't have power over their own ability to say no. And that may be based on any number of things, but they don't have that power. Many people are stuck in careers or in obligations that they really don't find fulfilling because they don't have the power, the authority, the ability to direct themselves, to influence their life path in such a way that actually feels fulfilling or satisfactory or rejuvenating. Now, I might be, fishing here, but I'll be willing to say there's a lot of people listening to this podcast right now who you're starting to categorize things, because we can often get very confused on what it means to have authority versus what it means to have power. People can take away your authority. No one can take your power. But you have to create, you have to invent and evaluate what the path is for your power, to your power. When you start creating things in your life based around what fills you up, what makes you happy, what makes you feel satisfied, you have a different type of relationship with yourself. You have a different type of authority with yourself. Like, for instance, you may have all kinds of power, right? But you don't have the authority not to show up to work, do you? Because you need money, because your family, because any number of things, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But understand, you really don't have the authority to say what's going to happen with your day, to direct what's going to happen with your life outside of the confines of said job, said commitment, said relationship, said circumstance, whatever it is. So, what we're going to be talking about on July 10th at the Creating a Path to Power event, we're going to be talking about what it means to surround yourself with things that give you power, things that allow you to influence your own individual direction. Maybe that means you have to establish different boundaries at work. Maybe that means you need to start looking for a job that doesn't affect your family life the way that it does. Maybe it means you need to reevaluate a relationship because you don't have the power anymore to dictate whether this is making you happy or not. You've kind of fallen into a place where your main objective is to keep everybody else happy. And if you're a compassionate person, this happens to anybody, everybody. So what is your path? How do you create a path to power? Not just a job, not just authority to, show up and do what other people want you to do, but your own power to influence your own direction based off of your unique values. What does that mean? What does that look like? That's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to talk about at Creating a Path to Power, the event on July 10th from 5:30 to 8 at Promenade Park. And our guest, Dr. Diana Jackson Davis, who was born in Manchester, England, to British Nigerian parents, and lived in Nigeria for several years before moving to Fort Wayne, Indiana. She's the Director of Diversity and Inclusion for Parkview Health, and she's a consultant with over 24 years of diversity experience. She's an advocate for education and presents on topics of diversity and inclusion as well as other related topics. Her motto is to lead with compassion and kindness. This is what compels her to teach others about cultural competencies, language, education, race matters, health disparities, and social factors that relate to ethnic and minority populations. She is a certified family support worker, counselor, and family therapist. Dr. Diana has worked extensively with nonprofit organizations and serves on numerous boards around Fort Wayne and has received several awards and recognition for the legacy of work that she has done. And she'll be here to talk to us. And I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. So make sure you buy your tickets for July 10th at Promenade Park from 5:30 to 8. It's going to be an incredible time, and I can't wait to share with you this conversation, this discovery of what it means to create our own path to power. The link for the event will be in the bio of this episode. I can't wait to see you there. I'll talk to you super soon. Until then, peace. Empower You podcast is devoted to bringing real-world wisdom and encouragement to our listeners. We discuss a multitude of life principles and the process from an economic, cultural, and societal perspective. We believe that through tough conversations and shared wisdom, we can pave the path and leave a ladder for the future. Subscribe to our channel and let us empower you.